Hello everybody, and today we're going to be looking at all of the infinite combos in Sorcery, and we're going to be rating them based on roughly how good they would be in an actual competitive setting. Before we actually get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and if I get to that this year, that'd be absolutely awesome, and I might have a special surprise for you guys. Alright, so basically we're going to be rating them based on how well they're able to be, each piece is able to be tutored out, whether it's actually the actual combo is practical, whether it actually wins you the game and then secures you an actual like next turn win, or roughly around those, making sure that these combos can actually be performed realistically, can be performed consistently, and can actually close you out the game. Also, you'll immediately notice I've given names to all of these combos. If you want to link to the document that I'm keeping all of these, that'll be in the description below, but I'm naming all the combos because I hate that they don't have names now. But first off, Crack Snacks. The Dame Britomart, Crave Golem, Catherian Mechanism, Candlemass Monks, Golden Harp, Shield Maidens. This thing has to go in D tier. I mean, if you get this out, it wins you the game, period. Like, it's a little bit of a... some of the pieces are able to be tutored out, like Catherian Mechanism and Shield Maidens, but it just bumps up from F tier to D tier because at minimum, if you do bring this out, you are winning the game right there on the spot. You basically don't need anything else with it. You just win as long as your opponent has an undefendable site. But it does basically force you into Elementalist because of how much threshold is in it, but you're guaranteed to win with this, so that's what pushes it slightly up from F to D tier. Next, we have the Thumb combo. This one, Camelot, Sir Tom Thumb, with Mirror Realm, a Camelot, Ring of Morgan, and Bottomless Pit. This thing has to go into F tier. I mean, you need so many unique pieces to this, and even if you're playing Duplicator, you can't play Bottomless Pit since it's an elite site, so it basically just bars you from actually being able to realistically pull this off. None of the pieces, except for Ring of Morgan, can actually be tutored up. All parts of this are just super clunky. You're in basically magical fairy tale land, needing Camelot, then Mirror Realm, the Camelot, and then having Bottomless Pit nearby both of them. It's just way too much. Sure, if you actually get this off and your avatar is nearby the enemy avatar, you can then kill them and have a way to kill them from that, but getting to that is just so... it requires just way too much. Next we have Wife combo. This thing where you need a flooded Hamlet, Donnybrook Inn, Lady Isiel, Wicked Witch, Finwife, Giant Shark has to go in F tier. I mean, you need Hamlet or Donnybrook Inn flooded, so you're probably going to need a whole nother card. While, yeah, the threshold, you are basically just in Earth Water, you need a Giant Shark on the site and all this nearby the enemy avatar with Lady Isiel and Wicked Witch nearby. It's just way too much. At any point, if you start playing this, your opponent could just kill something from it, and your life's just, it's going to be over. So I wouldn't recommend playing this at all. Next, we have Goat for the Slaughter combo, and it's going in D tier. It's Goat for Azazel, Ring of Morgan, Lady Isiel, Camelot, and Bottomless Pit. While Ring of Morgan can be tutored, Goat for Azazel can be tutored with the Searching for Beasts one, Assorted Animals. It's not the best thing in the world. Not a lot of it can be tutored, but this thing, since a couple of the pieces can at least be tutored, and it's super cheap and can come out as early as what? If you have a core in hand, the one that gives you Earth Threshold, you can do this on turn 3. So it's not the... no, because Lady Isiel would require you to... It still pushes you up there because it is super low threshold, but getting the Camelot and Bottomless Pit is a fairly tall ask, so you're probably not going to be running this fairly consistently. Dead Bird combo with Grain Sparrow, Giant Shark, Wicked Witch, Lady Isiel, and then Flooded Hamlet or Donnybrook Inn. It's just like Wife combo, but worse somehow, This basically just makes it so you're always at 20 life as long as they don't have a the Hemogoblin and able to connect, well, able to deal damage to you and get your life down. So sure, you can stay at over 20 life, well, stay at 20 life, but what does it really matter when combo doesn't realistically like end you the game? You basically need a sixth piece for this to actually do anything, and it just asks way too much of you. Sure, Grain Sparrow can be tutored up, but none of the other pieces really can. Next, we have Zero to Hero with Giant Shark, Ring of Morgan, Lady Isiel, a Flooded Hamlet, or Donnybrook Inn, and then literally any of the 1 mana, 0 cost, 1 mana, 0 power minions with Fenvale Muse, Profane Revenant, Revered Revenant. This has to go in F tier as well. While it does close out the game, you're just inherently making your deck a lot worse. Sure, having Fenvale Muse to be able to help you tutor stuff up if you happen to get like other parts of the combo, like if you happen to have Giant Shark, Lady Isiel, and like Fenvale Muse, while also having another piece of it, you can then help find Ring of Morgan, but then you need a draw spell to do so. It's just a lot of mana. It's a lot to ask, and already getting a Flooded Hamlet, Donnybrook Inn is just way too much already. It has to go in F tier. Then we have OG Viven combo with Vivian the Enchantress, Fey Changeling, an active Keening Banshee, Ring of Morgan, Violimp, Standing Stones. This combo, even though it was like one of the first to be made, it's really not that good. Ring of Morgan's the only thing that can actually be tutored in it. The rest of them just, it's asking for a lot. I mean, already getting Keening Banshee is just quite a bit. And even though you'd probably only be running this in Elementalist, you basically need to be going Air Earth already, especially just because of how much Threshold Vivian needs. And since you can't even guarantee getting Vivian at the same time, it's just not worth it. You can't really do much for that. Sure, Violimp can be good just throughout the game. Fey Changeling is just a decent minion to have, but Standing Stones doesn't really do much. Keening Banshee doesn't really do a whole lot. Ring obviously does quite a bit, but Vivian really only does stuff in this deck if you have the Standing Stones, so it has to go on F tier. Next we have Dead Wife combo, which is basically like Wife combo and Thumb combo. It's, you need a Bottomless Pit nearby the enemy avatar if you use Finwife, or just have an active Keening Banshee, and then you can have Bottomless Pit wherever. Ring of Morgan, Lady Isiel. This is one of the newer combos that I made, but it's still a fairly tall ask. I mean, Finwife, Keening Banshee not being tutorable makes it fairly inconsistent. If you do end up getting Finwife, then you need the Bottomless Pit nearby the enemy avatar, and you're already just hoping to draw into Bottomless Pit, usually naturally, but it's just too much. And sure, getting Lady Isiel and Keening Banshee, alright. You still need to find Lady Isiel. Ring of Morgan you can tutor with Highland Princess, but it's a whole lot to ask for, and not being able to find Bottomless Pit consistently since it's an elite site, it's just a whole lot, which is why I'm putting it in F tier. I almost put it in D tier, but just because like Bottomless Pit being elite and the only combo piece being able to be tutored being Ring of Morgan, it just wasn't good enough. Next we have Corrupt the Town combo, and I actually spoke to Kyle the Scourge Altar, great guy by the way. I spoke to him on all the combos in this list, and he said that this deck would probably be more like B or C tier. I think that Corrupt the Town combo is actually A tier, but I mean, it's super simple. Corruptor, Town or Donnybrook Inn, Ring of Morgan, Town Priest. The only things not being able to be tutored being Town or Donnybrook Inn, but if you're playing Ersatz Platz, you basically have 5 copies of the sites. Town Priest being able to use Silver Bullet, so you have basically 4 of them in your deck, or being able to tutor them with Call to War. Ring of Morgan being tutored by either Dream Quest or Highland Princess. You basically have like all the cards in the world to find these combos. It's not like a top deck. Honestly, it's probably closer to B tier, but I still think it pushes up to, this is one of the only combos that can actually show results. And I made top 32 in the championship with it. I just lost to Animist from playing really dumb, but no problems there. It was a really good match. Loved that match. Honestly, one of my favorites I've ever had. But this deck is really good. I can definitely see it being played a lot more than people actually give it credit for, and that's why I'm putting it in A tier. Next, we have Corrupted Bite combo, which is basically like Corrupt the Town, but Corruptor, Town, or Donnybrook Inn, Ring of Morgan, Lady Isiel, and Bitten. Bitten is kind of like Town Priest, but its slight differences really push it down. Lady Isiel not being tutorable does push this down quite a bit as well. Sure, you could put this like kind of combo in a Corrupt the Town deck, but Bitten combo just requires so much like finagling with it. Sure, it's only one threshold, which really does boost it up, but giving your opponent access to like at least 20 skeletons by doing this combo is a lot. You are immediately going to door, and it's going to be a bad time if you can't win immediately from there, since you've basically gave them a way to, you put them on now a 1-turn clock. Well, now you're also on a 1-turn clock, and even though if you play it really smartly, this deck can be really good, just the fact that you have to really pay attention to how this deck works, and it not always working exactly how you can, and Lady Isiel not being tutorable except for Dream Quest, is what really puts this down in C tier. Next, we have Ring of Infinite Wishes. This is Chaos Wish with Kythera Mechanism. I can never say that name correctly. Like, comment, and subscribe if you also can't say Kythera Mechanism correctly. And then Ring of Morgan. Obviously, everybody was talking about this whenever Gothic immediately came out, but casting Chaos Wish with it, you can cast infinite Chaos Wishes while your opponent just doesn't do anything, and then you could ping your opponent down to death. Kyle and I agreed that this probably go in B tier. I mean, it is able to be done. I mean, with the ability to have Fenvale Muses to help you find your Chaos Wish, being able to Highland Princess since you're in air to find your Ring of Morgan, Kythera Mechanism, you can find those two pieces, but Chaos Wish still being unique. Sure, you can put this in Duplicator, which would honestly help it quite a bit. Just the fact that you still also need to pay 8 mana from hand to play this. Sure, you can play Ring or Mechanism beforehand, and you can have a deck that really surrounds this. I still don't think it pushes up to being an actual competitively viable deck. So it still goes in B tier because you can get wins with this, but it would involve a much slower meta than we really have right now, and I don't think it would really be tournament viable unless you're just kind of having fun and just doing whatever. Next, we have Corrupted Idol combo, which is going in D tier. Corruptor, Town, Donnybrook Inn, Town Priest, False Idol, Water Nymph. So this is basically like the Corrupt the Town combo, but instead of just having Ring, Town Priest, Town, this one you need 2 different cards, False Idol and Winter Nymph. Basically, you play Town Priest, and then as soon as it enters, well, it's summoned, Winter Nymph taps it. Then False Idol says, hey look, a minion tapped nearby, your opponent draws a spell. So Town Priest bounces back to hand infinitely, keeps tapping, and keeps bouncing back. Your opponent draws all the cards in their deck, they immediately lose on the spot. It does push up from F tier because it does immediately win you the game. Not unlike how the Cracksnacks combo will immediately win you the game just by taking infinite turns. This one literally decks your opponent out, forces them to lose on the spot, which can be decent. Problem is, False Idol. You can't tutor for it. You can have Fenvale Muse to help you find it if you do have Town and Town Priest out, but Winter Nymph, you can make it cost 1. And even then, it's still 7 mana from hand. You have to eventually play the False Idol. You have to still have the combo going. It's a really tall ask to do. It can cheese a win every once in a while, but it's, I think, really inconsistent, and you'd be a lot better playing any other combo, which is kind of why it's putting it in D tier. Next, we have Broken Ankles combo. I just made this like a day or two ago, and I just thought, man, there's a lot of combos nowadays with the ring, so why not make one without one? Basically, all you need is Lady Isil nearby, the enemy avatar with Town or Donnybrook Inn adjacent to them, and then a Bone Jumble either in hand or in your cemetery, and then have a skeleton to then sacrifice to some Bone Jumble from there. I'm putting this in C tier just because it's not, none of the pieces can be tutored, but it will then go almost immediately win you the game. It's super low cost, and it's a little bit magical fairy tale land, but the deck that you're playing is probably already just going to be pushing really hard. You can really slot all these pieces in for basically any deck. It's not really a huge build around ask for it. You're probably going to put this in like a Necromancer style deck, but you can just have this in there. Basically just throw in a Magellan Globe in there, and all of a sudden your opponents who are playing, I don't know, Archimago or Sorcerer, the ones that don't really like to move around a lot, all of a sudden you can snipe them from all the way across the board if you have Town or Donnybrook Inn on your starting space. So that's what's pushing it up to C tier. It's not going any higher just because of the really tall ask you need for it. And at any point, I mean, if they're playing like Avatar of Air, for example, this thing's never going off unless they play very poorly, which it's Avatar of Air. They're going to be moving around anyway. So that's why I'm putting it in C tier. Next, we have Lady Blows Her Horn, which I'm also putting in C tier because it's basically take Broken Ankles combo and add like basically one more card. Instead of playing Bone Jumble, you could play something like Blood Ravens, for example, and Horn of Caerleon. I don't know how to say that name either, just like Hythera Mechanism. But Horn basically turns all of your little 1 mana, 1 powers into Bone Jumbles. So you either need Hamlet, Donnybrook Inn, or Town based on which minions you're playing. You're probably going to be using Hamlet for it, but the benefit of this, which is why it's on the same level as Broken Ankles, is because you're able to use Airborne. So instead of needing to be exactly adjacent to the enemy avatar, you can be nearby, which is huge. So at any point, your opponent can think, oh, I'm safe. They just have one of these nearby. That's whatever. When in fact, boom, boom, you can break their ankles from across the room. I don't know, but this thing is basically as good as Bone Jumble, maybe even better. The only problem is Horn can't really be tutored, as well as Lady Isil, but it's still really potent, and you're probably going to be putting these in your deck anyway, so just having the combo available is just super good. Or heck, you don't even need to have the Hamlet or Donnybrook Inn to really do the combo. You can just, for 1 mana, ping your opponent for 1. Like if you have Blood Ravens, it's literally pay 1 mana, get a Ring of Morgan trigger, which I'm pretty sure everybody would already want that anyway. Next we have One Shot, One Kill, which Kyle put in F tier, but I disagree. It's Lady Isil, Ring of Morgan, Hamlet or Donnybrook Inn, and 2 copies of One Shot Wizard. I've been wanting to make a combo like this for so long and just couldn't think of anything to do it with, because I figured you needed Ring of Morgan to actually do your damage. Well, in fact, no you don't. So since Ring of Morgan can be tutored, One Shot Wizard can be tutored in a multitude of ways, Lady Isil being really the only part of this that you can't really tutor, basically the combo consists of having Lady Isil just nearby your Hamlet, Donnybrook Inn, and the enemy avatar in your row. So you cast one One-Shot Wizard, you have it fire a projectile, your Ring of Morgan just pings nothing, or something else. Doesn't matter. So then, when you cast your second one for free, you have your Ring of Morrigan ping the other one-shot wizard that you just cast. So then it bounces back to your hand. One-shot wizard enters. Genesis pings your opponent for 1, and you just bounce that back and forth. Obviously, it's a fairly tall ask. I mean, you need 2 one-shot wizards. They can be tutored with stuff like Common Sense, but you're still asking for quite a bit. I'd see this more in like a Magician style deck. So, yeah, you can get it, but it's still fairly tall ask, and you're asking for your opponent to never move at all and just let you do the combo. But the benefit of this is if your opponent then does move on the next turn, if you do happen to have another sight or something, you can play the one-shot wizard to potentially kill them, but they're probably going to play around it anyway, which is why it's probably going in D tier. Next one, we have the Bone-Busting Snacks combo. This thing involves Necromancer, the Pallid Bust, Crave Golem, Kythera Mechanism, and Candlemass Monks. This is basically another Snacks combo, but instead it's like a weird version of Snacks and Broken Ankles. So basically, all you need to do is have the Pallid Bust Genesis banish your Candlemass Monks in your cemetery with Kythera Mechanism around and Crave Golem. You don't really need Mechanism, but it's just a lot better. Realistically, you don't necessarily need it, but on your turn, basically, you're just going to pay 1 mana to summon a skeleton, have it pick up the bust, and then on your opponent's turn, have Crave Golem attack the skeleton. So it immediately ends their turn. Wash, rinse, repeat. You can just do whatever you want from there. I mean, if you want to go aggro or whatever, it's the Crack Snacks combo, but easier. It's still going in F tier though. I mean, the Pallid Bust not being able to be tutored up very easily. Kythera Mechanism can, but Monks and Golem not being able to be tutored is just really hurting the style of deck. Sure, it can win you the game kind of from hand. It's asking you for, how much is that? 12 mana from hand. Well, Monks has to be in your cemetery, so you're already paid for the 3 at least some point. It's just, and then it's 1 mana each time. You just gotta keep going through it. And unlike Crack Snacks, which does have a way to actually deal damage to them with Golem, this thing doesn't. You need another card for you to actually do something, but it's still just, it's okay, but it has to go in F tier. Next we have the Noisest combo. This thing is going into C tier. These next few, Kyle has actually never seen because they just were given to me literally today. But Horn, Pallid Bust, and then either Noisome Twosome, Army of the Dead, or Midland Army. Basically, all you need is another minion, just wherever. Horn, just nearby, and then Pallid Bust needs to Genesis, banish either of those 3 minions, and then all they need to do is attack, attack, die, summon a skeleton. Skeleton picks up the bust, attack, die, wash, rinse, repeat. It is infinite damage, just from hand. I do think it suffers a little bit from the fact that you need quite a bit of mana investment in order for you to do this, but having the benefit of only really being in 1 element already, and you might just put these cards in your deck anyway. Probably not Midland Army, but Noisome Twosome just existing, you can very easily get that through stuff like Common Sense. But Horn and Bust not being tutorable really does nerf this, but it's generic mana. You can just play the game normally. You're probably going to be playing these cards anyways, so it really boosts it from there, which is why I'm putting in C tier. Viven has a snack combo. All right, let's combine Viven combo and Crack Snacks. All right, it's Viven the Enchantress, Standing Stones, Golem, Monks, and Nosferatu. This combo's super simple, but it has to go in F tier. Basically, you have the Monks and Nosferatu on the Standing Stones, and then Crave Golem just at least adjacent to your avatar. So you play Viven. Cool, it exists. So at the beginning of your opponent's turn, Crave Golem's gonna attack it, and then the Death Rites of Nosferatu and Candlemass Monks both go on the storyline. Have the Nosferatu trigger go on first, so it resummons Viven underneath your starting square, and then have the turn end. So then, from there, on your turn, Crave Golem is just gonna kind of screw off, do whatever it wants. But then, all you need to do is just move Viven up. It really helps with the Kytherian mechanism if an opponent happens to play any other minions, but you can have infinite turns. You're not going to do any damage with it, but hey, it's still a thing. You can take infinite turns, do whatever you want with it. Problem with this is threshold. Again, you need so much threshold with 3 air and 3 earth. You're not realistically going to be getting those like at all early for this, and you're requiring Nosferatu and Monks to be on standing stones. No piece of this can be tutored. It's just not that great. Something like that, which brings it down to F tier because it gives you infinite turns, but nothing else to do with it, and it's so hard to get up. And that is all the combos I have for you guys today. If you guys like this kind of video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what your favorite video is, and if you like the names of them. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything about that, please comment. I will definitely read them all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.